Okay, so let us discuss about the survey of software architectures starting from round robin architecture. So basically you have four different software architectures. So one is the round robin architecture, another one is round robin architecture with the interrupts, function queue scheduling architecture, and last one is the real time operating system architecture. Okay, before we are going to discuss all these different architectures. One thing what you have to understand is why do we have to select particular software architecture. See, software architecture, selection of the software architecture is going to tell you how much control you can have over any of the system response. So that is what we say, system response. So basically what this system response is, system response means, see for example if I have to say some complex task you have it, where system response is going to be, I mean it's going to take some amount of time. So where, I mean it's very critical also. System response, that response should be very efficient, and response should not take more amount of time. Response should meet the deadline, specified deadline within given fraction amount of time. So all those things what you have to take care. So all those things which have to be done within the fraction amount of time. If that kind of system, if I have to say very tight response constraints, okay. So if the system response, the time whatever that you have to do it, if it is very time critical, okay, very tight system response constraints, at that time you don't go for the very simple architecture, you have to go for the complex architecture itself. But if the system response requirements is not that time critical, not that very tight, so that time actually it is fine. So we just actually go with the very simple architecture, isn't it? Because if you have to go for the complex architecture, there are some issues like cost and all those things, they come into picture. Whereas if we go for the simple architecture, then cost will not play any role here, but the performance will play a role here. So if performance is not critical, then you can definitely go for the very simple architecture, that is very simple architecture. That is one of the architectures that you are seeing in the slide here, that is round robin architecture. As you can just observe here, the round robin architecture, it's very simple. Basically what you have in the round robin architecture is there are no interrupts here, and you don't have it just actually program loops around different input output devices in turn. So that is what it done. Maybe let me just write, it loops services in turn and services whatever the input output devices that are required. So basically last one that you have is, as there is only one task code, I can just see it here, there is only one task code that you have it here. So there is only one task code, so definitely one task code, there is no interrupt code here, no interrupt service routine that is there in this architecture. So there are no interrupts. So that is what, let me actually modify this one, let me write no interrupts, okay. So there are no interrupts, and just the program loops around different input output device in turn. There is no shared data and there are no latency concerns. So no shared data, in a sense the data is not shared between task code and interrupt service routine. So when there is no interrupt, only when there is no interrupt service, only the sharing of the data will not come into picture only. So definitely when sharing of the data will not come into picture, so latency concerns will also not be part of that one. So it's a very simple architecture. As you can just observe here, it is a main function, it is kept in the loop here, just actually checks for different devices. If input output device A needs service, you just take care of the input output device A and just handle the data to or from the input output device A. If the input output device B needs service, you take care of the input output device B, handle data to or from the input output device B, goes on like that way. If input output device Z needs service, you take care of the input output device Z, handle data to or from the input output device Z. You just actually take care of each device in turn. So one by one, first device is going to be service, second device it is going to be service. Before it needs a it is going to be service, it is going to check whether that device needs a service. For example, in this case, first it is going to check whether input output device A needs service, then only this is going to be taken. If input output device B needs service, then it is going to be taken. It goes on like that way. So just actually this is what has been written here, loops around different input output device in turn A loop surround means it checks for that one. If it requires service, it is going to be serviced. If it doesn't require service, then it is not going to be serviced. Okay, so let me actually go through the one example and how do we write the code for that example. Okay, so as you can see here, this is the basic example which has been taken, one example, that is digital multimeter. As you can observe here, in digital multimeter, two probes, display screen, you have the rotary switch. So in this rotary switch you have like different measurements of the readings, I mean different ranges, of course different measurements also, that is ampere, ohms and volts. Different ranges you have like this range 110, 100, 110, 100, 110, 100. So how do we write the this doesn't, there is no interrupt here, there is no critical time deadline, there is no hard time hard response requirements. So those all things which are not part of this digital multimeter, so it is very suitable to have a round robin architecture. So what does this round robin, the word itself says round robin architecture. Round robin means you keep on actually checking for each device. So here the digital multimeter function has been written here. So you have the enum, maybe the switch position, this is enumerate. So basically this switch position is a variable which is going to it's a switch, it keeps on tracking different cases here. So first one, it is ohms 1, ohms 10, ohms 100, amps 1, amps 10, amps 100, volts 1, volts 10 and volts 100. So enumerate means it is basically iterator that you are going to define here with the variable e switch position. It is going to switch between the different positions. It's similar to the rotary switch that you had. Okay, so it is similar to the rotary switcher that you have in the digital multimeter. So rotary switch, the hardware part is replicated by the software part in the form of e switch position that you are going to define with the data type, that is enumerate. Now of course you have here while after it is kept in the loop here, e switch position, read the position of the switch here. We just read the position of the switch, switch e switch position. If the rotary switch position is in the ohms 1, ohms 1 basically that is 0 to 1 ohm resistance, and ohms 10 is 1 to 10 ohm resistance, then ohms volts, ohms 100 means 10 to 100 range. This is the range that is specified. Similarly for the amps also 0 to 1 amps, 1 to 10 amps, and the one is 10 to 100 amps. So similar to the 0 to 1 volts, 1 to 10 volts, 10 to 100 volts, you have it in the voltage range. Now whenever the switch position is in the ohms 1, then you just read the hardware to measure the ohms, format the result, then you break from that one. Similarly you have for the ohms 10 switch, if it is kept in that position, read the hardware to measure the ohms, format the result, then break from that one. So it goes on like that way. So it is very simple architecture. You keep on actually checking for the different cases. If the switch position is in the ohms 1 position, then you measure that one and display, then you break from that one. See, one thing what you have to understand, the rotor switch will not actually switch directly from the ohms 1 position to volts 100. If I have to measure the voltage 100, it has to go through all these things, isn't it? Because rotor switch, first it will be in the ohms 1 position, next it will change the position to the 10, next 100, next amps 1, 10, 100, volts 1, 10, 100. It goes on like that way. So of course that's why entire loop is going to be executed before it comes here. Of course this is not going to measure the hardware and display that one, because by the time actually it tries to do this one, the position of the switch changes here. Position of the switch will be pointing towards ohms 10, next it will be pointing towards ohms 100. So if I have to measure the volts 100 here, so finally it comes here, it is going to stay there for some amount of time. That amount of time is sufficient to read the hardware, then format the result, that is calibrating the result and then display it on the screen here. So it is very simple architecture. I think all of you have used the digital multimeter, so you can just visualize how the readings is taken. Of course this is not automatic range digital multimeter that you have, so it is very a manual range, manual selection of the range digital multimeter. Now here what is the biggest advantage that you have in this round robin architecture? When you have very less number of the devices without any deadline that has to be met, then always actually go for the round robin architecture. The simplicity is the biggest advantage that you have in the round robin architecture. And also you can observe here no particular lengthy processing. The processing is not that lengthy, it is very simple. It takes care of the different cases in a very simple manner. And also, as we discussed, round robin architecture, no tight response requirements, no hard deadlines. So the execution of the different task is very simple. So there is no tight response requirement, no particular lengthy processing, very simplistic architecture. So those are the some of the advantages that you have with the round robin architecture. What is the biggest disadvantage? Biggest disadvantage that you have is that, see, for example, if I have to come to this case, it has to loop around all the different cases, then only it can come here. As you might have observed that one, see, in the digital multimeter that you have, if I have to change the position from resistance to amps to voltage, I can't directly go from resistance to volts there. I have to go through from resistance to amps to volt. By the time I come there, it is definitely going to take some amount of time. Then it has to, when it is in the voltage position, particular range position, it has to take the value, it has to read that one, then it is going to display. As you can observe, if any of the deadline that is assigned to any particular task here, it will not at all be considered. So it is definitely going to miss the deadline. Your program is going to miss the deadline if any of the cases some deadline is associated. So that is the biggest disadvantage you have in this round robin architecture. And our system is very fragile also. Why do we say system is fragile here? So that is what you have, the one of the disadvantages you have it in round robin architecture, means you make changes with respect to any of the code, that will have its effect in the other part of the code itself. Because if you just observe this task code, not all these cases are defined are defined in a different way. I mean, they are not written separately here. This is part of the one task code. In one task code, all the cases are written here. This is written in one task code, this is also written in the same task code, this is also written in the same task code. You have not written the program parallelly. These are all getting executed sequentially. Okay, so this program, the different cases are not being written parallelly, so they are written sequentially. So obviously, if any modification that you make it in one of the cases, definitely that will have its effect in the other case in the part of the same program. So that is one big disadvantage that you have. So if I have to list out the different disadvantages, one is that if deadline is not assigned, if deadline is assigned to any particular task, then it is not going to be met if any of the particular previous cases are going to take more amount of time. Now system is very fragile here. So as we discussed earlier also, there is no interrupt based execution, as interrupt is not at all encouraged in the round robin architecture, just round robin architecture. You have another architecture, round robin, with the interrupts, where interrupts are going to be encouraged there, but here in this case actually interrupts are not encouraged. So this is the one of the disadvantages, but obviously advantages are very simple architecture for simple tasks like digital multimeter. So those kind of examples you can definitely go with the round robin architecture. I hope you understood this very simple architecture, one of the first architectures that you have in this topic, that is survey of software architectures. Okay, thank you.